Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
Everything my cheating ex-wife stole is now dragging her down.
10 years married. That's how long we'd been together when everything fell apart in one brutal dinner conversation. My wife, Callista, suggested an anniversary trip to Aspen to celebrate our decade together. I thought maybe she wanted to fix things. We'd been distant lately, like strangers sharing a house. The mountains, the fresh snow, crackling fires. I hoped it might bring us back together. I was completely wrong. We're sitting at this rustic lodge with panoramic views of snow-covered pines, white linen, golden candlelight, bottle of red wine half finished between us. Callista wore this elegant dark green velvet dress, looking effortless but rehearsed. Her cousin Jordan was there too, both of them tipsy with flushed cheeks, whispering and giggling like they shared some inside joke. I'd just lifted my fork to cut into my seared steak when Callista reached for her wine glass, swirled it lazily, and said it like it was the most normal thing in the world. "By the way, I sold your cabin. My boyfriend needed the money." No build-up. No apology, no hesitation. She said it the way someone might mention changing the curtains. My fork stopped midair. I looked up, thinking I'd misheard, but then Jordan snorted, wiping her mouth with the linen napkin. "He'll get over it," she muttered, trying not to laugh. They'd planned this moment. This was their punchline to some sick joke. What settled over me wasn't shock. That passed in seconds. It was something colder, sharper. A silence so loud it blocked out every sound in the restaurant. She leaned back, satisfied with the drama, probably expecting rage or begging or disbelief. Something to show she'd won. But I didn't give her that. Instead, I smiled. Not the happy kind. This smile was colder than the ice clinking in her glass. "That's funny," I said softly, reaching into my coat. My fingers found the envelope I'd folded there hours earlier. Not because I expected this exact betrayal, but because I'd stopped trusting her months ago, maybe even a year. I placed it gently beside her water glass and slid it across with 2 fingers. Jordan leaned over to peek, still smiling until she saw what was inside. Deeds, sale contracts, authorization signatures. Both our names, notarized, dated, final. "What's that?" Callista asked, her voice flat now. "I sold something too," I said simply. Her trembling hand pulled the documents from the envelope. The blood drained from her face as she scanned them. "You sold the account," she whispered, voice cracking. "No," I corrected. "I sold our joint investment account, the one I built for 10 years, the one you had access to but never contributed to. You know, the one you borrowed against for that wellness retreat in Miami last spring." Jordan wasn't laughing anymore. She looked like she wanted to disappear. "You can't do that," Callista said weakly. "I already did, 3 days ago. Every dollar moved, cashed, redirected. It's done." Her face cycled through red, pale, red again. "That's theft." "No," I said, eyes locked on hers. "That's partnership. The kind where one person does all the work and the other pretends to care." The silence that followed swallowed the entire room. Even the approaching waiter saw us and turned back toward the kitchen. I leaned forward slightly. "You sold my cabin without my knowledge or permission. And you think you're still in control?" I shook my head. "You made your move, Callista. That was your mistake because now I get to make mine." When Jordan tried to interrupt, I cut her off. "You laughed when she told me what she did? You thought this was funny?" I stood up, chair scraping stone. Didn't raise my voice, didn't throw anything. Just left those documents on the table like a calling card and walked out. The cold Aspen air hit like a slap that wakes you up. I didn't look back because I knew she wouldn't follow. That was the funeral for everything we'd built, or thought we had. The drive to Denver was long and quiet. I reached my friend Rory's place near midnight. He opened the door immediately. One look at my face told him everything. "Spare room's made up," he said. "Whiskey's on the counter." I went straight to the kitchen, poured a glass, and after a long silence said, "She sold the cabin." "Wait, what?" I told him everything. The dinner, the announcement, Jordan's laugh, the documents I'd slid across the table. When I finished, Rory walked to the window and folded his arms. That cabin was in your name. She couldn't have sold it legally. She forged my signature. His expression turned cold and focused. She's been planning this for a while. You don't pull something like that overnight. We worked until 3 a.m. Rory on his laptop while I listed everything we still shared. Accounts, properties, vehicles, safety deposit box, wine membership. Piece by piece, we laid it all out. The cabin wasn't just property. It was memory. My grandfather built it by hand, taught me to swing a hammer on that porch, showed me how to listen to silence without needing to fill it. And she'd sold my inheritance like it was disposable. But this was bigger than I'd imagined. Through Rory's contacts, we traced the money. $42,000 from the cabin sale, transferred to our joint savings, then wired within 48 hours to an account in Florida under the name Tyrese Bennett. I didn't recognize the name until we searched it with Callista's email. Tyrese was a personal trainer in Miami, running a boutique gym that hadn't turned profit in years. His social media was desperate motivational quotes and shirtless selfies. And there she was in a video from 6 weeks earlier. Baseball cap, sunglasses, but I knew that voice, that laugh. The boyfriend Jordan had joked about was real, and he was broke. We kept digging. Callista had sent money under different transaction notes. Wellness services, consulting fee, vendor payout, all carefully worded to look legitimate. She wasn't just cheating, she was laundering. Then Rory's background check on Tyrese came back. 2 prior arrests, fraud and identity theft. He'd scammed a woman out of her inheritance in 2015, promised a business venture, disappeared with the cash. This wasn't an affair. It was a partnership. A con team. That's when a woman named Harper showed up at my door. "You don't know me," she said, "but I used to be married to Tyrese." For the next hour, Harper laid out how they'd done to her exactly what they were doing to me. Word for word, move for move. She'd been a nurse, gave Tyrese everything for his smoothie bar dream. He drained her dry, then brought Callista in as business manager. They changed the locks, erased Harper from her own life, made her feel unstable and obsessed. But Harper had kept everything. Screenshots, chat logs, even a Google Doc where they'd mapped out target profiles of financially stable partners to exploit. My name was at the top. Liam D. owns cabin, multiple investment accounts. Passive, predictable. Too nice. The worst revelation. Harper showed me documents for a company called Tide Rise Wellness LLC. Registered under my name, my social security number, my address. I'd never heard of it. "It's a front," Harper explained. "They're laundering money through it, fake gym sales, supplements, memberships. But it's in your name, which means if the IRS gets involved, you're the one they're coming after." She handed over USB drives, timelines, everything. This wasn't just betrayal. Callista was setting me up for federal charges. I immediately filed identity theft reports and hired a federal defense attorney named Clarissa Vale. She was sharp, surgical, didn't sugarcoat anything. "You're lucky Harper came forward," she said. "Without her, you might have faced real charges." Meanwhile, I went completely silent on Callista. Didn't answer calls, texts, emails. Let her wonder where I'd gone while I quietly dismantled everything she thought she controlled. I froze all joint accounts with a few clicks. Sold our Breckenridge condo through private sale. She didn't get notice until the transaction was finalized. Used my power of attorney, which she'd granted me months earlier and forgot to revoke, to liquidate our investments and transfer proceeds to a private trust. Her messages grew increasingly desperate. Why are the utilities in someone else's name? Did you move money from the brokerage account? Are you trying to punish me? Grow up, Liam. She called me immature. After forging my signature, selling my grandfather's cabin, funneling money to a convicted fraud, the irony was breathtaking. Then she sued me for misappropriation of marital funds. Claimed I'd intentionally withdrawn and concealed assets, leaving her financially stranded and emotionally traumatized. She was trying to flip the script, make me the villain in her story. Big mistake. In court, Clarissa presented everything methodically. The forged cabin sale with expert testimony on the signature. The shell company created with my stolen identity. The money laundering through fake business transactions. Harper's affidavit about their previous cons. Digital forensics showing Callista's IP address creating fraudulent businesses in my name. When Callista took the stand, she tried to cry, claimed confusion, said Tyrese had misled her, that she didn't know what she was signing. But Clarissa had the group chat logs, the target lists, the audio files where they planned everything. The judge leaned back, studying Callista with disgust. I find the plaintiff's claims not only unsubstantiated, but intentionally misleading. This case is dismissed with prejudice. But he wasn't done. Given the evidence presented today, I am referring this matter to the State Attorney's Office and the Department of Revenue for further investigation. Bailiff, please escort Missy Duval to the holding area until interviewed by attending agents. Federal agents entered from the back, handed her formal charges: wire fraud, identity theft, tax evasion, conspiracy to defraud. As they let her out, she turned to me with wide eyes. "Liam, please don't let them." I didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't say a word. Tyrese was arrested in Miami 2 days later. Even after winning, I still owed $14,000 from a refinancing document she'd buried in paperwork years earlier that made me jointly liable for the business loan. The legal process would eventually shift blame to her, but creditors wanted their money now. I paid it without fighting. I was done bleeding for her decisions. Months later, I got one final letter from her. Expensive paper, neat handwriting. "You always thought you were smarter, but I was just faster." I read it twice, then smiled. Not because it hurt. It didn't. There was a time that letter would have ruined my day. Now it was just a whisper from a world I no longer lived in. I burned it in my fire pit. Used what was left to buy land in Montana, a quiet clearing behind pine trees with a creek running along the edge. Built a new cabin with my own hands. Got a rescue dog named Diesel, all legs and tongue with a bark too big for his frame. Harper and I stayed friends. Not romantic, just two people who'd survived the same con. We'd meet for coffee, talk about anything except the past. I started writing again, filling notebooks with good memories I didn't want to lose. Like catching my first fish with Grandpa, or how the original cabin smelled in winter. The original cabin is gone forever. Sold, flooded, claimed, erased. But the one I rebuilt from memory and forged in silence, that one no one can ever touch. Callista might have been faster, but I'm free, and freedom isn't about speed. It's about choosing peace over war, integrity over spectacle, healing over revenge. Sometimes the most powerful goodbye is the one you don't say at all.
Hi guys, and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
Enjoy your ride, cheating witch.
I'm 42M, married to Lana, 34F, for 12 years, daughter Emma, 16F. My best friend Brett was 36M, owned a gym, been tight since high school. He was my best man, helped us move, the works. I work at Morrison Manufacturing 16-hour shifts, 6 days a week on hydraulic press. Not glamorous, but pays bills. Lana's a real estate agent, supposedly building her career. Always showing houses and buying expensive clothes with our joint credit card. Picture this. I'm eating a gas station sandwich behind the factory during lunch break when I check my phone. Our shared cloud account is streaming live video. Figured Lana left her camera on by accident. What I saw destroyed me. My wife was riding another man in our marriage bed. The man was Brett, my best friend of 20-plus years, the guy who was best man at our wedding. In the bed, where my daughter used to crawl between us during storms. Hands trembling, I want to hang up, pretend I never saw it. Instead, I screenshot everything. The audio was worse than the visual. Lana panting. God, I can't believe Jason still thinks you're just helping me with my real estate license. If he knew you were the one who got me that Morrison Heights listing. Brett muffled. Poor fool probably thinks his overtime is paying for your new BMW. Doesn't know his best buddy's been bankrolling his wife's lifestyle for 8 months. 8. Damn. Months. Then Lana asks what I'd do if I found out. Brett laughs, says I can barely look him in the eye at the gym, mentions how I shuffled away like a kicked dog when he outbenched me 315 to my pathetic 185. They both laugh like it's the funniest thing ever. Lana says sometimes she thinks about telling me, putting me out of my misery. Says Emma's almost 17 anyway, and likes Brett better than her own father already. Brett tells her not to. This setup works too good. I pay bills, he gets benefits. Says I could never afford our house on machine operator salary. That he's the one making her career possible through his developer contacts. My phone cracked. I'd been gripping it so tight, my knuckles went white. Found 47 more video files in the shared album. Sat in my truck the rest of lunch break, staring at smokestacks cutting black lines across gray sky. Hands stopped shaking. Whole body felt remarkably calm, like the moment before pulling a trigger. Texted Lana. I was working late. She immediately responded with her usual lie about showing houses until 9. Love you. The same lie she'd been telling for 8 months. After work, drove to Danny's pawn shop on the bad side of town. Guy asks minimal questions if you have cash. Told him I needed home security. Heard about break-ins in my neighborhood. 20 minutes later, walked out with enough surveillance equipment to wire a small warehouse. Everything off the books. Called in sick next day. By 8:30 a.m., alone with my new gear and growing sense of purpose. Started in bedroom. Micro camera behind dresser mirror capturing entire bed. Living room camera hidden in fake plant Lana bought but never watered. Kitchen disguised as smoke detector. Voice recorders in landline phone base, cable box, even inside Lana's jewelry box. Spent afternoon at library using their computers. Created anonymous email accounts, researched private investigators, divorce attorneys, and something I'd never thought I'd need. Revenge tactics that couldn't be traced back to source. Forums were educational. Scorned spouses sharing strategies with clinical precision of military planners. Most interesting were psychological warfare techniques. Stories about people driven to complete mental breakdown without single law being broken. Brett texted, "Gym tonight. Haven't seen you in forever, buddy." The casual audacity was almost impressive. I declined. He kept pushing, mentioned Lana told him about Halloween party invitation. They'd been discussing my social calendar while screwing in my bed. That evening started my research phase. Followed Brett to Route 9 Marriott at 2:15 p.m. Friday. At 2:47, Lana's BMW pulled into lot. Nothing if not punctual. Took photos with timestamps. Used Hotel Business Center to check credit card statements. Sure enough, $127 charge from 2:38 p.m. to Marriott Route 9. My wife was using my credit card to pay for her affairs. Home recordings were goldmine. Bedroom camera captured Lana whispering into phone at 11:47 p.m. after she thought I was asleep. Can't keep doing this. Only for a few more months. What if he finds out? Brett's voice. Won't find out. Too stupid. Same thing. Enhanced the audio, burned a CD labeled Evidence 1. When Emma came home from school, I was making her favorite snack, apple slices with peanut butter. She was suspicious about me being home early. Is everything okay with you and Mom? She asked what she meant. Emma said we'd been acting weird, never really talking, everything sounding fake, like reading from script. Said Mom's been on phone lot more, always texting and smiling, buying expensive clothes. I made a decision that would define everything. Told Emma yes, there was someone else. Her mother was cheating with someone we both trusted. Emma cried but handled it with maturity that broke my heart. Asked what I was going to do. Told her I was going to make sure everyone understood exactly what they'd done and what it costs. That evening, Lana came home with new dress from mall. Cost more than I made in a week, according to Credit Card Alert. Modeled it, saying it was for Brett's Halloween party tomorrow. When we talked that night, I asked for complete honesty about everything. Asked directly if she was having an affair. Her pause lasted exactly 3 seconds too long. No, I pressed, explained hotel charges, cologne smell, never being where she said. She got defensive, called me paranoid and jealous and pathetic. Same word Brett used in recording. I told her I knew everything. About video stream, about Brett funding her career while I worked doubles, about them laughing at how stupid and weak I was. Gave her 2 options. End it with Brett tonight and try to fix marriage, or I handle it my way. She laughed. Called me weak, boring, pathetic. Said Brett was right. I'd never have balls to leave. Would just keep working and paying bills while she did whatever she wanted. Was he? I asked, smiling for first time in days. Something in my expression made her step back. That's when old Jason died. Saturday spent preparing party favors, video camera, portable printer, devil mask, red ribbon. Had plans that went beyond simple exposure. We arrived at Brett's Halloween party around 8 p.m. 24 people in costumes, drinking and laughing. Brett dressed as Viking, suited his ego perfectly, greeted us with fake enthusiasm, hugged Lana too long, too close. I watched my wife's face, saw fear there, asked to speak privately, just three of us. Brett's office decorated with athletic achievements, business awards, several photos including Lana at real estate events. Spread photos across Brett's desk, them entering/leaving hotels, Lana in Brett's truck, Brett leaving my house Tuesday morning when I was supposed to be at work. Silence stretched nearly a minute, then played enhanced audio recording. Their voices filled the room. Too stupid to figure it out, just need few more months. Then we can be together properly. Brett's face went pale to red. Called me son of a witch. Pulled out phone, showed them 27 queued messages to Lana's boss, Brett's business partners, parents at Emma's school, our neighbors. Each containing photos, recordings, financial documents showing Brett steering business to Lana for sexual favors. I'm a reasonable person, I said, so I'm giving you choice. Option 1, get on knees, beg forgiveness, confess everything. I give you 24 hours to figure out how to make this right. Option 2, I press send right now. Brett stepped forward. You're bluffing. Try me. Lana dropped to knees immediately. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Jason. 8 months of using your credit cards, your house, your trust. I told myself it was because you weren't paying attention anymore. But that wasn't true. I did it because I wanted to and thought you'd never have courage to stop me. Voice breaking. I let him convince me you were pathetic. Used his business connections while you worked extra shifts. Turned Emma against you by complaining constantly. I destroyed our marriage because I'm selfish and cruel and thought I could get away with it. Brett refused to kneel. I pressed send. Phone buzzed with 27 delivery confirmations. Brett lunged forward. 16 years factory work kept me stronger than I looked. Caught his wrist, twisted, dropped him to floor. Put on devil mask. Here's what happens next. Lana, you pack and leave. Brett, you'll discover several business partners have conflicts of interest now. Sleeping with client's wife while steering business violates contract morality clauses. Oh, and costume party continues outside. Everyone's about to get educational slideshow on big screen TV in your backyard. Had set up projector while Brett was getting drinks. Right then, guests were seeing photos of their 8-month relationship. Through office window, heard confused voices becoming angry voices. Someone shouting, someone laughing. Pulled off mask. I'm the guy who finally stopped letting you treat him like one. Emma waiting when I got home. Lana had called hysterical, said I'd done something terrible. I exposed the truth. Some people consider that terrible. Emma said what Mom and Brett did was wrong, and she was sorry it happened to me. She wanted to stay with me. By Wednesday, story was all over town. Job recruiters calling with offers paying twice my Morrison salary. Apparently, someone who could systematically dismantle two people's lives with surgical precision was exactly what some companies needed. Brett's gym closed due to financial restructuring. Lana's agency mutually parted ways with her. Brett showed up drunk at my door Thursday, blamed me for destroying his business and reputation. Told him he destroyed his own life by thinking he could betray someone without consequences. Got management position offer in Chicago, paying twice old salary. Emma and I moved for fresh start. House went on market. Proceeds split per divorce settlement. 3 months later, settled in Chicago. Emma in private school, me at new job. Apartment smaller than old house, but felt bigger somehow. Lighter. Lana eventually called. Got job in Pittsburgh, seeing therapist, wanted to become someone Emma could be proud of again. Emma started talking to her mother again after months of silence. 6 months later, Lana visited Chicago. Looked different, older, more genuine. Thanked me for taking care of Emma while she figured out who she wanted to be. Asked what would have happened if she'd been honest from beginning instead of having an affair. Told her we probably still would have divorced, but Emma would still respect her. Brett would still have business. She wouldn't have had to rebuild entire life from scratch. Divorce isn't same as destruction, I said. Eventually deleted all evidence files. Didn't need proof anymore. Consequences had played out, lessons learned, new life built. I'm not same man who discovered wife's affair in factory parking lot. Not the man who systematically destroyed two people's lives for betrayal. I'm someone who learned that respecting yourself sometimes means making others face truth about themselves, no matter how much it hurts. Sometimes that's most important lesson anyone can learn. Edit. For those asking if I feel bad, no. They spent 8 months calling me pathetic while destroying my family. I made sure actions had consequences. Emma's thriving. I have better job. Lana's actually working on becoming better person. Sometimes cruel is just honest. Edit 2. Brett's business never recovered. Last heard he left town. Actions have consequences. Edit 3. To those saying I went too far, they filmed themselves mocking me in my own bed, used my money for hotels, turned my daughter against me, and laughed about how stupid I was. For 8 months. What exactly would have been proportional response? Asking nicely?
Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
Everyone saw you cheating, but I'm the only one who felt it.
My wife Miranda, 32F, and I, 29M, were married 3 years. I teach 8th grade history. I'm the reliable, boring type with color-coded lesson plans. She worked in marketing and had always been more dynamic than me. The trouble started when she announced that she was going to Vermont for a girls' weekend with Lacey and Tasha. Our anniversary was that weekend. When I pointed this out, she rolled her eyes and said, "It's just a date, Liam. Stop acting like I slapped your mother." That Friday morning, I watched her drag her suitcase to the door. No goodbye kiss, just the click of her heels down our apartment hallway like she was escaping prison. I called out, "I love you," but the elevator doors had already closed. For months leading up to this, she'd been pulling away. Coming home late, being dismissive during conversations, making me feel like I was shrinking to fit into smaller and smaller spaces in our relationship. But I kept thinking it was just a rough patch. That night, I tried calling to check in. Straight to voicemail. "Hey, it's Miranda. You know what to do?" I didn't leave a message. Tried again an hour later. Same thing. Then I texted, "Just checking in. Let me know you're okay." The message showed delivered, but no response. I barely slept, kept rolling to her side of the bed, smelling her pillow that still carried her amber perfume. By 3 a.m., I was pacing the kitchen, pouring water I didn't drink, staring at nothing. Something felt fundamentally wrong, but I couldn't name it yet. Saturday was our anniversary. The apartment felt like a mausoleum, her sandals by the door, wine glass still unwashed in the sink, everything screaming her absence. I should have been furious or heartbroken, but what I felt was stranger. Like the silence wasn't absence, but strategy. She wanted me to stew in it. My friend Jonah texted around 5 p.m. about a BBQ at his lake house. I figured anything was better than sitting alone in that quiet apartment. So I went. The backyard buzzed with conversation and the smell of grilled corn. I tried to feel present, but it was like watching everything through glass. That's when I heard her name, Miranda. I turned and saw this woman, Ava, scrolling her phone by the cooler. "I didn't know she was dating someone new," she said to her friend, showing the screen. My stomach dropped. "Miranda who?" I asked, my voice sharper than intended. "Miranda Shaw. She's at that resort in Killington with some guy. I figured you two broke up." I stepped closer. "Can I see that?" Ava looked surprised, but turned her phone toward me. It was an Instagram story, one of those 10-second clips that loop endlessly. Miranda, hair down, shoulders bare in the sunlight, cocktail in hand, laughing. But not just laughing, leaning into a man I'd never seen before, her hand grazing his chest like it belonged there. He whispered something in her ear. She smirked. The story ended with her blowing a kiss at the camera, his hand on her waist. The caption read, "Guess who found vacation company," with a kiss emoji. I couldn't breathe. Something sharp and cold cracked through my chest. The fireworks started right then over the lake, big, bright bursts of color painting the night sky. Everyone around me turned to watch, faces lit with red and gold. But I couldn't look up because there in my hands was proof. Not silence, not ambiguity, just a single moment she'd chosen to share with the world and not with me. I handed the phone back without a word. Ava gave me a sheepish look. "I thought you knew. I'm sorry." I walked to the edge of the lake and stood there in the dark while explosions echoed behind me like applause. It was our anniversary, and she was somewhere else, celebrating with someone else. It wasn't a wound anymore, it was a decision. Sunday morning, I was sitting across from divorce attorney Carla McKay in her Midtown office. Too many leather chairs, not enough warmth. She was brisk but kind, asked the right questions, didn't blink when I said, "She's having an affair, I want it done quickly." "Do you have access to her social media? Screenshots would help." Anything with location tags or closeness. I slid my phone across the desk. "Start with the story she posted last night. It's public." She tapped the screen, nodded, and kept working. There was something therapeutic about watching this part of my life broken down into sections. Assets, shared accounts, lease agreements. Nothing romantic, just terms and conditions. I signed where she pointed. Here's what I did next, and I'm still proud of this. I didn't call Miranda, didn't text, didn't give her the satisfaction of my desperation or rage. Instead, I waited until late afternoon and called her friend, Lacey. "Hey, it's Liam. I just need you to do me a favor. Next time Miranda checks in, just let her know the divorce proceedings are underway. The paperwork's been filed. That's all." Long silence. "Wait, what? You're serious?" "Very. But you guys always seem so—" "We're not," I said, cutting through gently. "We haven't been. Not for a while. Maybe you should wait until she's back. Talk it out." I did wait, for months. Through the lying, the silence, the condescension. This isn't sudden. It's overdue. The meltdown started 15 minutes after I hung up. My phone lit up like a warning flare, Miranda's name flashing over and over. I stood by the window with peppermint tea, watching traffic on 12th Street, and didn't answer a single call. The texts came rapid fire. "Liam, what is this? Lacey said something insane. Call me right now." "This isn't funny." I didn't reply. I just watched the city lights flicker on one window at a time, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Control. Not over her, but over me. She called for hours, sometimes back-to-back, sometimes spaced out like she was trying to stay composed. But I knew the rhythm of her panic, and I didn't answer once. The next morning at 8:17 a.m., I finally picked up. "Liam." Her voice cracked like a dam giving out. I said nothing. "Oh my God, are you really doing this? You're actually filing for divorce?" She was crying. Whether real or performance, I couldn't tell and didn't care. "I don't understand. What did I do that was so awful you couldn't even talk to me first?" "You'll find out in court." Silence. Then she laughed, not joyful, not even bitter. Fragile, like glass cracking under its own weight. "You can't be serious. This is crazy. We're just going through a rough patch, Liam. That's all this is." "There was a guy in your story, Miranda. His hand on your waist, your lips at the camera like you were single. You tagged the resort publicly. That was nothing. It was just a joke. A stupid inside joke with the girls. That guy's no one. A bartender. I didn't even talk to him." You leaned into him. You smiled at the camera like it was a game. You knew exactly what that story would look like, and you posted it anyway. "I didn't think you'd see it," she blurted, then immediately corrected herself. "I mean, I didn't mean anything by it." That slip was the truth. She never thought I'd see it. Or maybe she hoped I would and expected me to spiral, to beg. But not this. Not silence, not divorce, not power without volume. "I've already signed. You'll get the papers this week." "Liam, wait." I did wait for months. While you stopped coming home on time, while you pulled away from conversations, from dinners, from me. I waited while you turned our marriage into a performance, and I gave you every chance to be honest. She was really crying now. "I don't want to lose you. You already did. I can change. I'll come home. We can talk." "Please just don't end it like this. We've built a life, Liam." "No, I built a life. You treated it like a rental." That's when she broke fully. I could hear the ugly gasp, the performance finally over. "I don't know what to do." "That's not my problem anymore." I hung up and finished my coffee. For the first time in months, it didn't taste bitter. A few days later, I ran into Ava at a cafe near 7th and Broome. She was sitting alone by the window with something pale in a ceramic mug. When she saw me pass by, she waved me in. "Hey, Liam," she said with a genuine smile. "Is this seat taken?" "Only by my poor taste in scones," she replied, sliding a half-eaten one to the edge of her plate. "Try it if you're into chalk." I laughed for real. It felt strange. Good strange. We talked about Jonah's terrible playlist, his hosting skills, just normal things. Then she leaned back and looked at me seriously. I didn't mean to drop that bomb on you the other night, she said softly. You didn't. You just lit the fuse, she nodded. She posted it knowing people would see it. I think part of her wanted someone to report back to you. Yeah, but she wasn't expecting silence in return. I know what it's like, Ava said after stirring her tea. To wake up one morning and realize someone's been emotionally slipping away for a long time. Only you were the last to notice. That hit different. You've been through it? 3 years ago, my ex-husband. Different circumstances. Same hollow ending. Before we left, she wrote her number on a napkin. Not because I expect anything, but in case you ever need someone in court who's seen the truth. Thanks. That means more than you know. I've got time, Liam. Take all of yours. The courthouse was cold when the day came. Pale wood, high ceilings, fluorescent lights that flattened everything. Carla sat beside me, reviewing documents for the 4th time. At 9:01, the heavy doors opened. Miranda stepped in looking like someone who'd slept through her alarm. Hair in a rushed bun, makeup that looked applied between sobs, navy dress slightly wrinkled. She wasn't wearing her wedding ring. She paused when she saw me, mouth twitching like she wanted to say something, but the bailiff pointed her to the opposite table. She walked without a word. What followed was clinical. Carla presented the timeline, cited dates, messages, travel records. Then she laid Miranda's Instagram story on the screen, paused at its worst frame. Miranda leaning into that stranger, cocktail in hand, eyes heavy with flirtation. Miranda flinched. Her lawyer objected briefly, claimed the post lacked context. The judge raised an eyebrow. The caption says vacation company with a kiss emoji. I think the context is self-evident. This wasn't the stage Miranda was used to. No filters, no ability to spin it into something poetic, just plain wood and legal language and receipts. The hearing was almost over when Miranda suddenly stood. Wait, she said, voice cracking. Your Honor, please. Just one moment. The judge looked up, wary. You've already had the opportunity to speak through counsel. I know, but I need to say something to him. Miranda stepped closer, tears on her cheeks, real ones this time. Liam, I made mistakes. I shut you out. I know that now. Her words rushed out like someone trying to beat a closing door. I got lost somewhere. I let myself drift, but I didn't mean to hurt you like this. I thought I needed space, freedom, but none of it mattered. Not when it cost you. I stayed seated. You were the only thing that ever felt real, she whispered. And I know I don't deserve it. But if there's even a piece of you left that remembers who we used to be, please, just give me one more chance. I'll do anything. The room fell silent. Everyone waited. I stood slowly. Ava had slipped in quietly halfway through, just like she said she might. When she gently reached for my hand, I didn't hesitate. I took it, and together we turned and walked past Miranda without a word. Her breath hitched behind us, a sound that might have once shattered me. Now it only echoed. The courtroom doors opened with a heavy push, and as they closed behind us, I didn't look back. That chapter was sealed. Not with a bang, not with a scream, but with silence. The powerful kind. Outside, the sun had finally broken through the clouds. Warm, honest light poured over the courthouse steps. Ava squeezed my hand once, then let it go. You okay? I took a breath. I will be. And for the first time in a long time, I meant it.